Good morning. We are back here today to continue our studies, and today we are studying lesson from Tuesday, and we are studying the first lesson of this quarter. The general title of our lesson is The Steward, and today we are studying the topic that says positive attitudes. Question A. What should the Christian steward consider in the face of an economic downturn? We have the verse, it's well known, this verse from Philippians 4:13 that says, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, in another version. And also the verse from Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So we need always to remember the promises that the Lord is available to give us strength, to remember that in everything he is working for the good of those who love him. So we need to have a positive attitude and trust in the Lord. Question B. Why is our approach to financial matters so important? We have the verse from Proverbs chapter 16, verse 2 that says, all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weightens the spirits. So we need to remember that sometimes we can think we are doing the right thing, that we have our plans all correct, but we need to remember and to learn what are the ways of the Lord, what is the will of the Lord for us. So this is important for us to remember, that it's important for us to have this approach about financial matters, so we can learn what are the ways of the Lord, what is the will of the Lord for us. Question C. What warnings come to Christian stewards with regard to our attitude and motives? Let's read the verse from 1 John chapter 2, verse 15 and 16. Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, comes not from the Father, but from the world. So, this is the warning that comes to us as stewards in regards to our attitude and motives, that we need to have in mind that we cannot love the world, not the things that are in the world. We need to have love for the Father. And we have here this text that is explaining the text from Testimonies for the Church, volume 1. We have this paragraph, and I'm going to read just few lines here. You can read after in your own time, but it's very important. Satan is constantly presenting inducements to God's chosen people to attract their minds from the solemn work of preparation for the scenes just in the future. So we need to have in mind that Satan wants us to be distracted from the time we are living. It's a time for our preparation for the scenes that are before us. And he will come with distractions, and we have here few suggestions of ways we can be distracted. The lust of the eye, the desire for excitement and pleasing entertainment, is a temptation and snare to God's people. So let's remember to keep our minds focused on our preparation for the last days. The last sentence says, through these different channels, Satan is skillfully draining the purses of God's people, and for it displeasure of the Lord is upon them. And I'm going to finish our study this morning with the verse from 1 John chapter 2, and I'm going to read now verse 17. The world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever. So let's remember that we need to do the will of God, and we will live forever. Because the world and its desires pass away, but those that do the will of God will live forever. Have a blessed day, and we will continue our morning studies tomorrow by the grace of God.